Quantifying the value of monthly recurring revenue. Part 1. Margins. Many integrators have an intuitive sense that recurring revenue is a good thing. However, few actually generate any significant amount of recurring revenue. This is unfortunate on many levels because building recurring revenue is one of the most valuable objectives you can set for your organization. Consider 3 quantifiable reasons you need to make this a priority. Each topic is presented in its own short video clip. The concepts in each video are super simple but powerful because the numbers don't lie. Part 1. Margins. When quantifying the value of monthly recurring revenue, the first thing that any organization should pay attention to is the substantially higher margins achieved with this type of sale. For project sales that produce one-time revenue, integrators frequently realize a margin that averages around 20%. Yet, if they're able to sell some type of service or support agreement, locking in multiple years of service, the margin on those sales average closer to 50%. While the specific numbers for your organization may vary from the averages shared here, the point is there is a significant difference, and the impact of that difference becomes clearer with an illustration and a view of sales over time. Consider an integrator that has $5 million in annual sales. But let's look at 2 scenarios. In the first, all sales are one-time revenue project sales. With margin of 20%, the integrator will produce $1 million of margin for that year. In the second scenario, let's say the integrator was able to generate $5 million in total sales, but $3 million is project sales, while $2 million is recurring revenue sales. There's still 20% margin on the project sales, but the recurring revenue sales earn 50% margin, producing a total margin for the year of $1,600,000. That's 60% more total margin with the same total annual sales revenue. Well, that should be quite an eye-opener. This is only 1 year. Consider the difference as you take this out a few years. In year 2, assume the integrator generates new sales, which are identical to year 1 in each scenario. The new sales in year 2 will logically produce the same margins we calculated a moment ago. However, in scenario 2, there is also $2 million of recurring revenue from year 1 that still exists in year 2. That's what it means to be recurring revenue. So in year 2, scenario 2 is now producing over $2.5 million in margin, while scenario 1 is not budged. In fact, for each scenario, assume $5 million in new sales are generated each year into the future. The margin in scenario 1 will never change, always remaining at $1 million. By contrast, in scenario 2, the margin will increase by $1 million each year because of the benefit of recurring revenue sales from each previous year, also benefiting the current year. It doesn't take long for this to have a mind-blowing impact on both annual and cumulative margin. And keep in mind, we're not even increasing annual new sales. We're keeping total new sales flat at $5 million each year. In just 5 years, scenario 1 will produce total margin of $5 million. But scenario 2 generates $18 million in total margin. Incredibly, that's $13 million more than the margin from straight project sales. Be sure to watch the other parts of this short video series on quantifying the value of monthly recurring revenue.